You gotta love some of those old rock songs. For instance, the great old song by Jackson Browne, The Pretender, is filled with all kinds of beautiful, inspiring, and poetic imagery. And if we are to faithfully believe Romans chapter 8, verse 28, that all things work together for His great purpose, then it's not at all a stretch to believe that much of the old, secular music could be, even unknown to the songwriters, filled with all kinds of prophetic, prescient meaning and modern and enlightening relevance. I hope to someday try to write a book with all of the old songs that I've noticed, to be dripping with this kind of prescient warning and/or quite profound and hopeful and even biblical meaning. Caught between the longing for love and the struggle for the legal tender is the line that this hauntingly beautiful old poetic song uses to symbolically describe the dying of the infamous American dream. This idea juxtaposed against the illustrated slow and painful personalized feeling of the death of the kind of hope-filled world that God so lovingly and indelibly etched upon all of our hearts. The song describes how we are taught, trained, and even brainwashed into being the pretender. Pretending, the song goes on, while the children, the future hedonists in training, learn the joys of fulfilling their carnal desires as they, quote, wait for the ice cream vendor, unquote, pretending that we are all fine with that death-filled worldly or hedonistic experience. The trading of our unlimited potential as sons of the living God mentioned in John chapter 1 verse 12, for the death-filled hedonistic wares from the merchant of this world, and his death-filled soul-killing negativity, built upon false scarcity, crony capitalism and darkness, ignorance, my people perish for lack of knowledge, that all of the symbolic dying of the American dream can bring. The song points out and illustrates how we were being trained to accept the fatalistically evil idea that the struggle for the legal tender is where our hopes and dreams begin and end, when instead, this existential fight for the love of everything of eternal abundance that is written upon our hearts could have been the contender of the ownership of our hearts. But instead, being quote-unquote a happy idiot, filling in the colors of some prescribed paint-by-numbers dream, seems to be the winner of our hearts, this beautifully poetic song calls it. But what if we actually are on the cusp of a new kind of reality? One that God's kingdom workers are and have been unnoticeably yet diligently working on for years to bring about with God's continued help. Those, quote, veterans who dream of the fight, who fall asleep at the traffic light, unquote. Perhaps the song was presciently noticing them, waiting for that go signal. Maybe they have finally awakened and are more overtly moving. The Great Awakening. The song even says and describes the changes that love brings that only seem the fitful dreams of some greater awakening. The song so presciently declares the awakening of an entirely new reality, back to that which is indelibly written upon our hearts. What could we do in a reality that would be built upon decentralized power and control? A reality consisting of decentralized and free-flowing and abundant information, a truly open and uncensored internet, uncontrollable money through crypto and the death of the Federal Reserve System, a world of energy, freely flowing energy or Tesla-based energy, innovation of thought, the Great Awakening, a world of great invention, brought about by freeing up the stranglehold of the patent system, and medicine or healthcare, perhaps the things RFK Jr. speaks about for starters, and the destruction of the allopathic medical model that makes us lifelong customers rather than healing us. Is that all the kind of values that God etched into our hearts for the coming world that He designed for us? A reality built upon God-ordained value, not a system of hoarded, lust-of-money-filled Babylonian control, and soul-sucking centralized power, and falsely created scarcity girded by crony capitalism, but rather a world of creative abundance, with decentralization and real value. Even giving us products built with real quality and craftsmanship, not just Chinese-built schlock, and most definitely no longer giving us ugly soul-killing architecture and art. Value that adds the essence and character of God to this world. That is our future. One where our working reality is not always about the struggle for the legal tender, but God-ordained abundance. Stop and truly fathom what that could mean. There is much evidence of this all really happening if one stops the pretending and learns where to look for it. To quote Mr. Browne one last time, are you there? Say a prayer for the pretender who started out so young and strong. only to surrender, say a prayer for the pretender. Are you there for the pretender? Obviously God was there, he always is, to have heard all of those prayers of those pretenders throughout the years. And, obviously Mr. Browne never did surrender, otherwise he would have never penned such a moving Holy Spirit of truth revealing song. Glory, glory, his truth marches on,